The National Prosecuting Authority has received a shot in the arm with a financial contribution from Germany. Now, the country has pledged 9.5 million rand to create a structure within the NPA, and that's obviously headed by Shamila Batohi, to enable members of the public to lodge complaint of improper conduct involving their staff. Now, the structure is expected to improve the image of the NPA after the authority lost credibility in the so-called years of state capture. To tell us more about this financial pledge, let's bring in German ambassador to South Africa, that's Martin Schafer, who joins us live from the capital of South Africa. Martin, thanks for your time and welcome to the AM report. I imagine at the start, many people will be wondering what interest Germany has in South Africa's National Prosecuting Authority.
Well, we have an interest in that South Africa is a successful and prosperous country where the rule of law prevails. And you have said in your introduction already what happened in the last 10 years. There's a sense that there's impunity reigning in South Africa. If you look at the conviction rates for murder, you see that less than 10% of the murders committed find a trial and a murder convicted for that. You have a lot of perception in South Africa, and by the way, also beyond the borders of South Africa, in the international investors community, that corruption is a cancer in the heart of the South African society. And we believe that the National Prosecuting Authority, as the centerpiece of the criminal justice system, needs to boost and get a boost for its credibility, for its accountability, for its independence, and for the trust that South Africans have in it. And we believe that this office, that, by the way, has been already in the NPA law for many years, but was never set up, is an important element in boosting that trust of South Africans in the NPA.
Now, there is that old saying that there's no such thing as a free lunch. What's in it for Germany?
Well, it's, if you want, it's enlightened self-interest of my country. We have understood, after all that Germany has done to the world in its history, that we will only prosper. We will only be fine if our neighbors and friends are fine. And that holds true for the COVID-19 crisis. We will only be overcoming this crisis when everybody's overcoming it. And it's the same thing with the rule of law. We believe by helping South Africa re-establish and reconfirm the rule of law as the centerpiece of a democratic state and of a fair and just society, we serve our interest. And I'm glad that you asked the question so bluntly to tell you how it works. There is a clear firewall between any German involved in dealing with the NPA. And, the reason we chose this office is because it has, in fact, nothing to do with the real substantial matters of bringing criminals to book. That is a clear part of South African sovereignty. It is Shamila Batohi, the NDPP, and all her prosecutors who take independent decisions on who they're going to charge for crimes. No German will be involved. And by the way, the firewall is the Institute for Security Studies, a renowned South African think tank that will deliver the technical assistance to the NPA to set up this office.
This has been touted as a pledge, this 9.5 million rand. Does this mean the NPA doesn't have to pay it back?
Absolutely. This is a pledge. And we don't have, the NPA doesn't have a cash problem at the moment because, fortunately enough, the government and the president of your country has defined, the upgrading and the functioning of the NPA as a priority for the country. This is about a certain part of the work of the NPA that we thought needed some support that it wouldn't have gotten, say in the next years or so. And, with the support we are giving, each and every South African very soon will have the right and the possibility to put claims against perceived, alleged improper conduct by a prosecutor, by any person working for the NPA. And it is a clear commitment by the NDPP, by Shamila Batohi, that she will make sure that those claims are being taken seriously, that they are investigated, that each South African will receive a proper response to his claim or her claim.
Now, Martin, for better or for worse, you're actually spoilt for choice when trying to decide which aspect of the NPA to try and boost. We know that over the years, the so-called years of state capture have led to a real skills deficit within the prosecutorial body too. I wonder what informed, pledging money to developing the structure as opposed to pledging money to try and again fill those vacancies where there's a real skills shortage within the NPA. Take us through what informed essentially the trajectory of your intervention, for lack of a better term.
It's a good question. Once again, when we were in discussions with the NPA, when I talked to the NDPP, when we talked to the ISS, it was very clear from the beginning that we would never, ever endeavor to engage in cooperation with the NPA on the centerpiece of its work, which is bringing criminals to book. And I think we have a governance problem maybe at the NPA, as the NDPP has said, but that is her job.
Yeah.
And the job of her leadership to make sure that she finds the prosecutors she can trust, that she finds the prosecutors that are willing and able to bring the criminals in this country to book. And that is none of our business. That is the business of South Africa. That is part of South African sovereignty. What we were trying to help is, as I said, trying to improve the credibility of the NPA by giving the South Africans the chance to get tested whether there's improper conduct by prosecutors. And I think that is indeed a contribution to the rule of law in South Africa.
Martin, we're out of time, but I'm going to try squeeze in one more quick one. If this money doesn't go towards developing the structure, is Germany in a position to actually take the money back? Essentially, how are you going to ensure that the money you're giving will be spent where it should be?
We have gotten a lot of questions and suspicions on our help to get COVID masks and PPEs into the country. And with the money we gave to the South African government, we made sure that there's no corruption, no tenderpreneurs taking money out of that. And here it's exactly the same. But I have full confidence and full trust in the NDPP, in the Institute of Security Studies, and all the people that we work with, that there will be no misappropriation of any funds we give.
All right. Thanks very much for getting us into the picture. Really appreciate your time this morning. Really quite an interesting development at the very least. Martin Schafer is the German ambassador to South Africa, speaking to us about Germany making a 9.5 million rand pledge towards the National Prosecuting Authority. Hopefully we'll be able to keep an eye on the rands and cents in the years to come.